by all means, it's all about recalibration, but also strengthening the international humanitarian law. That's a very key subject matter here in Pretoria. And of course, the Department of International Relations and Cooperation is part and parcel of these particular events for the next 5 days here in the capital city. Joining us now is Deputy Minister Bottas. So once again, sir, thank you so much indeed for your time. You spoke at length about the importance of making sure that countries and the member states and those involved in armed conflict do respect international humanitarian law. Just the importance of that, Deputy Minister.
Yeah, I think today's gathering is the sixth international conference gathering of the Commonwealth of the Red Cross and Red Crescent societies on international humanitarian law. Convened obviously under a thematic approach on the universal adherence to the implementation of international humanitarian law. And for us as South Africa, that is key and critical as we seek to construct a world that are more just, that are more fair, but a world where when we speak about deepening about multilateralism, it should be based on international law.
And obviously, Deputy Minister, the events over this past weekend, we've had South Africa is calling for de-escalation, the restraint in light of those events, the Iranian retaliatory attacks on Israel, a very concerning situation, given the fact that you have always been calling for a dialogue so that you try and address these issues.
I think we want to reiterate what President Ramaphosa have raised, that we are calling on de-escalation. We are calling on the international Vienna Convention to be respected. That includes, obviously, that there should be no country that should launch a deliberate military attack on diplomatic missions of any other country. But equally so, we are calling on restraint. We do regard a necessity for enhanced dialogue, mediation that will result in de-escalation, because what you have now seen with this difficulty between Israel and Iran is that it brings to the fore the fragility of the Middle East peace process. And key in the Middle East peace process, Kaya, is the resolution of the plight of the Palestine people. And we have been unequivocal of South Africa in regards to those issues.
And just before I let you go, Deputy Minister, looking at the African continent, looking at today in particular, it's the anniversary since the war broke out in Sudan, but also a concerning situation in South Sudan. We know that President Ramaphosa will be going there to meet up with the key stakeholders, but the importance of this gathering, but also looking at what the African continent is going through in terms of these conflicts, but also role play by the likes of Red Cross and Red Crescent in making sure that they alleviate the plight of those caught up in these very ferocious conflicts.
Yes, I think we should commend the indispensable role of the International Red Cross and Red Crescent societies in as far as the upholding and application of international humanitarian law is concerned. Because you know very well, Kaya, that in conflicts as a result of the conduct of both state and non-state actors, it's always civilians, it's always innocent people, it's civilian infrastructure, health infrastructure that bears their testimony to the adverse consequences of wars. But equally so, part of the African peace and security architecture is exactly what President Ramaphosa's visit will seek to deepen, is the resolution of the consequences of war. It's about the difficulties of silencing of the guns. It's about bringing to bear testimony to those countries about the importance about mediation and de-escalation and cessation of hostilities, so that all of us can champion the AU Agenda 2063, which speaks about inclusive prosperity and cessation of hostilities and the silencing of the guns. It's obviously an indispensable factor in regards to that, Kyle.
All right. Deputy Minister, thank you so much indeed for your time. Obviously reflecting on the significance of this particular gathering, but also during the course of his remarks, Deputy Minister Bottas also made reference to the issue of these geopolitical tension that are threatening global peace. Khayelihle, Khumalo, SABC News, Pretoria.